All right, I think we are almost ready to kick off today's webinar. So, really excited to join here today and go through some content. So, let's jump into the first bit of this. So, I just want to do a quick introduction about myself and who we are. So, hello and welcome. I'm Logan. I'm one of the co-founders here at Landlord Studio, and today we're going to take a deep dive into what making tax digital actually means for landlords, the changes ahead, and how you can stay compliant with minimal fuss. Again, just a high level about how this webinar is going to run and what we're going to cover. So MTD has been for income tax has been delayed quite a few times, but it is coming now, starting in April 2026 for landlords earning over £50,000 in revenue, and that's combined sole trader and property as well. Just remember that. And then from April 2027. For those earning, £30,000, that's going to be extended out to you as well. So today's webinar is all about basically what it is, who it affects, the practical impact on landlords, and how to use Landlord Studio to stay compliant. And again, if you have any questions, I know this is a complex topic, and a lot of people don't or misinformed around this. So if you do have any questions about MTD, please drop them in the chat. We'll do our best to answer them. So just before we kick off, I just want to gauge, I want to get a sense of the audience on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being fully prepared. How is everyone feeling about MTD today? I really want to know that. I think it's useful to know that. Drop it in the chat. Let us know how well prepared you feel around MTD. Seeing a lot of comments come in here. We've got some twos, got some ones, threes, twos. We've got some what is MTD. We will cover that. Got another one. Yeah, I mean, this is really interesting because it just goes to show how, I guess, how much information has been lost within translation, either from accountants or from, the government and all these news updates, etc. But that's what we're here for today. That's what we're going to go through today. So for all those who have dropped in the ones and the twos, hopefully this webinar is going to be helpful for you to just really understand, what's coming, how it's going to impact you, etc. So let's sort of jump into, exactly what MTD is, or making tax digital for income tax. So it's essentially HMRC's initiative to digitize tax reporting. Instead of filing one annual tax return as a landlord and sole trader or combined, you will need to submit digital records quarterly. These are quarterly income and expense updates directly to HMRC. You got to keep digital records, and you got to file a declaration at the year end. And you have to do this all through HMRC-recognised software. And if that sounds like more stress and admin than ever, then you're right. And the financial cost is actually quite real as well. Reports estimate MTD has already cost HMRC over £1.3 billion, and it could add £300 to £400 to the average accounting bill for individuals. So the question is why is HMRC pushing this through? What they've said is their goal is to improve transparency, reduce errors, and make compliance easier in the long term. And, though the rollout so far hasn't exactly been smooth, that is what their goal is. They're also overhauling the penalty system. So basically, under the MTD, missed deadlines will earn points. And once you hit the limit, fines essentially kick in for this. And this replaces the old flat penalty system, and it targets repeated non-compliance taxpayers. And lastly, there are some limited exemptions around this, such as for those who are digitally excluded due to age, disability, remote location, etc. These require a formal application and approval from HMRC. So if you think you might be eligible, I do recommend talking to your accountant about this. They will be able to advise you on a little bit more information around that. So I guess sort of comes to, what does this actually mean for landlords? So for landlords, MTD isn't just about tax reporting. It's about changing how you manage your finances. And this means moving from paper and spreadsheets to digital record keeping software like Landlord Studio and keeping your accounts up to date throughout the year. So, you can complete an accurate quarterly update as we go through. So I just want to ask the audience here now, I want you to let me know in the comments, how are you currently tracking your expenses right now for your property business? Are you already keeping digital records? Drop your responses in the chat, just a quick yes or no, and we'll, I'd love to see these responses because, again, it's going to give us some pretty good insight into where people are. So see a few yeses, nos. We've got Excel, common product, yes, no. So very mixed bag on how people are actually tracking and keeping digital records already. Let's see a few more answers in there. Timed out mid customer call. Not sure what that is, but does Excel count? We will cover that as we go through as well, and Ben will definitely answer that. So let's jump into, I guess, a little bit more information around this. So it's not all bad news. The quarterly updates should, in theory, give you sort of real-time visibility into your rental income and expenses and help you reduce accounting errors and better forecast your tax spend so you can make more informed investment decisions. But I guess just to summarize some of these comments that are coming through around, recording income and expenses on products. So under the new rules, just to be clear, you will need to use a product that is compliant under HMRC. It's going to be a recognized software to be able to push your updates through to the tax system. So, tax will be due on the same timeline as the current self-assessment system. And the quarterly updates are only prelims of the forecast of your cash flows, and your actual tax due is not actually calculated until you've completed your final end of year submission. So I guess basically in summary, these tax submissions are almost a forecast for the government. It's to allow them to see better insight into what's been generated in terms of income and expenses throughout the year. But the submissions aren't actually the final tax return itself. That being said, you can't just ignore these quarterly updates. As already mentioned, under the new penalty system, you'll be issued penalty points for each late update. And once you receive 4 of these points, you'll unfortunately receive a £200 penalty. So let's sort of jump in, talk about some of the next steps. I mean, what can you do around this? So there's a lot of information around MTD. Your accountants, if you're using one, should be well informed of making tax digital. And if you're going to be under the new thresholds, or when you'll be under the new thresholds, etc. So basically, the immediate next steps will likely look a little bit like this. So you need to confirm if your income falls within MTD thresholds. Again, talk to your accountant about any MTD questions you might have, whether that's about the software you should use, how to register, or who's going to be submitting all those updates. It's either going to be you or your accountant or a combination. Depends on the arrangement with your accountant and how they want to deal with that. So basically you need to start transitioning to MTD-Ready software by setting up your free account. So in the context of us, Landlord Studio, you can basically set up a free Landlord Studio account. And if you've already been referred to Landlord Studio and this webinar by your accountant, then that's great. Great to see that. You can actually claim a free Landlord Studio account by following the invite that they send out to you. That'll give you free access to Landlord Studio until 2028. And if your accountant isn't currently part of our partner program, I would definitely suggest recommending them to reach out to myself or join. It's going to save a little bit of time and money on those subscription costs. Basically, you get a free Landlord Studio Pro account, and you can see all the features on our website as well. We've got everything from bank feeds, etc., etc. And I'll be covering off these in a short demo in just 1 second. So if you are new to us here, talk to your accountant before you create your account as well, as you might be able to get that free Landlord Studio account if they're on our partner program. But finally, you will need to register for MTD on the HMRC website before MTD launch day. And you should be able to do this yourself, but also if your accountant is acting as your authorized agent, they should be able to help you out with this process as well. So if you do have any questions about this or you're unsure, please, again, if you're using an accountant, reach out to them, ask them, find that time to really just get all your questions answered here. So now you know what's coming. I do want to jump in and show you exactly how Landlord Studio can work, particularly if you're not using it already, and how our MTD submission process is going to work. So just going to jump across to Landlord Studio now. You should be able to see it on the screen here. And I'm just going to go through a very short demo. So basically, Landlord Studio, in summary, is a all-in-one property management software, but it's got a very sort of strong core focus on the accounting aspect of your property business. So in summary, it's basically a cash basis type accounting software. All the income and expenses are tracked on a property by property level. This is quite different to Xero, QuickBooks, Sage, where those more advanced accounting softwares are typically designed for like a single business unit. But in the context of MTD as well, you actually have to obviously track all your income and expenses on a property by property level, and then sum that all up in the quarterly updates, and then push them through. So the way that Landlord Studio works is everything is done on a property by property view. We actually do have a whole lot of other features that do help out with management as well. So basically, this is the homepage. It's going to give you a full breakdown of cash flow, rent received, calendar, notifications on any sort of reminders that are due. You can set up things like EPC certificate reminders, insurance policy reminders, all that sort of stuff. And this is where we start to bring in a little bit more of the all-in-one property management types of tools. It allows you to stay on top of more than just the accounting aspect, even though the accounting features are the core sort of value proposition here. So let's sort of jump into the property level. So again, setting up the account really easy. Just jump in. You can add your property in here. So start typing in the address. It'll auto pull and populate here, and then you can define whether your property is a HMO or a flat with multiple units. And this is actually going to allow you to track income and expenses on each individual unit, particularly. Very helpful. Or set it up as a single family home. Basically, once that is done, you can see your list of properties in here, nice and organized by tenant, by rent due, etc. So all we need to do is just come into that unit now that we've set up our property. And there's a few sort of key features in here that we need to look at. So one, we've got our income and expenses at the bottom of the screen here. This is a really easy way to just raise manual income and expense transactions. So if you're not using bank feeds or you're not importing bank statements and you just want to log payments on the go, then you can just jump in here. Also use our mobile app as well. Really easy way to sort of do all of that. So you can easily jump in here. Expenses can be set up, recurring expenses to save time, all this sort of stuff. It's designed in a way that emulates how accounting software works. So categorization, same sort of features there. You can categorize all your expenses. You can upload invoices, PDFs, keep all those receipts on file, even set up recurring expenses, all that sort of stuff. We'll jump into the contacts part now. So this is one of the really important parts about MTD. If you own a property with another owner, so say you're a husband and wife and you co-own properties together, or you co-own properties with other people, basically you can set up what's called joint ownership on a property. So you can add your owners in. For example, I've got my two owners here. And then you can actually split the ownership of these owners on the property level. And this is really important because each one of these users or owners has to do an MTD submission separately. And the separate submission needs to take into account their ownership percentage of their income and expenses on a property level. So we make it really easy by allowing you to set up the owners, define the percentage, and then your making tax digital obligations can be calculated based on the ownership that you've set up, ensuring that you're paying the correct tax and you're reporting the correct income and expenses. We're basically using this value to define or calculate, the income and expense side. So really important feature. Again, ask your accountant about joint ownership if you have any questions about that as well. There's also a lot of content online too, including Landlord Studio. Some other features in here, you can store property documents, tenancy documents. This allows you to replace all the different products like Google Drive, etc., that you might be currently using. Very easy way to store everything on file. Mileage and reminders, again, these are really important for just staying on top of key tasks. Anything like property inspections, electrical, gas safety, etc. If you have a letting agent that's already a letting agent that is managing your properties for you, this actually allows you to just keep this stuff on file so that you can make sure that the letting agent is actually doing their job, because it will remind you, and you can store reports, anything from your letting agent in here as well. And finally, you can add any sort of policy things that you need to stay on top of everything around that property. So that's basically a quick overview of Landlord Studio's property view. This is where you're probably going to spend most of the time in the product. Going to jump into the bank feeds now. So bank feeds allows you to automate this entire process and make it a lot easier as a property owner to do this stuff. So fully open banking compliant, basically jump in, log in to your bank account, and you can connect it. You can authorize multiple bank accounts. We use the same technology that all the Xero, Sage, QuickBooks, all the accounting providers use. This is read only. All it does is it reads the transactions, brings them in to Landlord Studio so that you can then allocate them to a particular property. You can also rename all these accounts as well. So if you've got accounts dedicated for properties, which we do recommend, that's the best way to separate your personal expenses from property expenses. Then you can add them in here and then rename these, assign them to specific properties as well. If you are using a personal bank account for your property and you do mix your income and expenses with other personal stuff, no problem. You will get transactions that come in here that are personal. You can simply just archive them by ignoring them, and that'll filter them out of the list. So that allows you to sort of keep the feed clean to make sure that only property income and expenses are coming in and being allocated. But sort of just in summary, how this works, you can import up to 2 years worth of data if you need to. And then it's as simple as just coming into each expense and then allocating it to a particular property. So all I do is just select the property, select the predefined categories that we create for you when you sign up. You can add a receipt, add a note, etc. And then it's as simple as just tapping reconcile. And that's just essentially created a transaction against the property and logged it in the system. So very easy. Income as well, very easy to handle. Comes in, all you need to do is just allocate it across to a particular property and then define it, whether it's rent, etc. If you have a letting agent that pays you out monthly with a statement, the best way to handle this, to handle all the expenses that you need to record, like the agent fees, all that sort of stuff. Basically, just define the property here twice. categorize, or bring the rent in. You might be earning whatever it is. So for this example, £200, and then maybe the agent fee or whatever fees that they've done for the month. Could be 100, for instance. This could be, I don't know, agent fee. Categorize this as well, management fee. And then basically what this is going to do is allow you to create a transaction from that bank feed to say, this is rent, this is agent fees. And that's going to keep your accountant very happy, because then they don't need to go through statements and read it all as well. But we actually do have another feature that's going to help out with the agent statement side as well, if you want to automate everything, and if your accountant is in our partner program. But we'll come to that at a later stage. But again, logging transactions, very easy. Again, a couple other things, you can set up splits, you can split transactions. If you know that there's a transaction that comes in, that always comes in for insurance, for instance, on a property, another thing you can do is set up a rule. And this is going to help you, again, just automate a lot of this stuff. So I can set up that insurance payment as a rule. And then once that rule's been created, then I'm going to see the highlighted green transactions here. Basically, this is going to allow me to easily come in, review the transactions quickly, and then click OK, and it's done. So bank feeds is a great feature to help automate a lot of the accounting side. And this really will just help you stay on top of all your income and expenses as well. Jumping into the reporting. So now that we've sort of added some of our income and expenses, we've done it through the bank feeds, we've done it through mobile app, we've imported PDF or CSV files to do that, and we've logged it in the system. We can run reports inside Landlord Studio to sort of see exactly how much we've spent, what we've done, and all this information can be exported out. You can drill down into the different categories, into the different properties, and even into the different owners as well. So that's just really going to help you stay on top and analyze and understand what's going on. And so that basically, those three key steps, setting up the property, adding the income and expenses manually or through the app or through bank feeds, that's all you really need to do in order to stay on top of MTD. It's just a continuous sort of going in there, making sure everything's up to date, every so often, and then keeping all your records up to date. There are some other features in here that I won't go through today, such as like maintenance tracking, some other things that sort of help you stay on top of things. But basically the core functions in here around accounting really just going to help you stay on top of digitizing all those expenses. And then when it comes to the MTD returns and actually filing returns in the product, again, you need to check with your accountant whether they're going to do this for you, or you're going to do the quarterlies and then they're going to do the end of year like they do. Basically, that comes down to how you operate. And if you don't use an accountant, you can use this as well. No problem. So basically, come in here, you can authorize your account. That's going to then basically set you up or set your account up to be authorized with HMRC using your national insurance number. And then essentially all you need to do is come in here and review the quarterly submissions. There's 4 of them, remember, Q1 to Q4. Looking at Q1 here, I can then see all the income and expenses that I've been adding into Landlord Studio, categorized correctly and all tallied up. And again, this is going to calculate based on your ownership percentage as well. So if you are joint ownership, this is going to display the right values. And then it's as simple as just submitting through, and then you've basically done your quarterly. So very streamlined, very easy to do. The main task that you need to get on top of is really just building the habit of doing correct record keeping. And we've got some great features in here to really help automate that and stay on top of that. Once that's been pushed through, then essentially that's done. So you do that all the way through the year, and then the final declaration or final tax return can be done by the accountant as well, because you may have other income sources and things that you need to take care of as well. So yeah, basically, that's the whole process from start to finish. Um, Setting up a property, setting up all the income and expenses, etc., and then going through the final return. So, yeah, hopefully that's been useful to sort of just understand how it all works and how, yeah, and I guess how you can use it to do your MTD submission. So, just going to jump back to my other screen here. Just give me 1 second. Um, there we go. So yeah, that's basically Landlord Studio again. Again, if you have any questions about this, please start dropping them into the chat. We're going to do a bit of a Q&A at the end because I know there will be a few questions around this and how it all works and how it will work for you, etc. as well. So we're at the Q&A already. So yeah, essentially that is the Landlord Studio product demo. We're going to go through those Q&A questions now. I really want to answer them. Make sure that everyone has the right information. So I know Ben's been dropping in a few answers to the questions in here as well. Reoccurring expenses by Andrew. Reoccurring expenses is what I use. That's fantastic. It's a great feature. You can either set it up in the bank feeds or on the product as well. So yeah, it's a really good one. Next one. So if you have self-employed or other income, this cannot be done with Landlord Studio. Not yet. So at the moment, we're just focusing on the property income side. It's what we do best. You can use multiple products though for MTD. So if you already have Zero for your sole trader business, then you can actually continue to use that for your sole trader side whilst using Landlord Studio for the property side. And that means that you can push all those updates from both products into HMRC. And then when your accountant goes to do the final end of year submissions, it is there from both products. So it means that you can stay on top of both pieces of income. Can the system generate a quarterly report that can be given to an accountant? So you can use the reporting in our system to generate reports based on a time period if you want. That doesn't mean it's compliant when you export it out for the accountant. That all those digital transactions still need to be in a product that is recognized by HMRC. So, the best method is to use the same product that you're going to be pushing those updates into the HMRC from. That would be our view. Please check with your accountant as well, and get them to double check that as well. But essentially, you can export all the data out of Landlord Studio if you want to using those reports. Do you need to purchase Zero to operate the bank feeds or do anything else? No, we have our own bank feeds product. It's all built in. You don't need Zero to use bank feeds on Landlord Studio. We have our own bank feeds feature, which will do it all inside our own product. Does your software use cash basis or accrual method? It uses cash basis. You're basically just logging the income and expenses as they happen. But you can set up expenses to be paid, but we just don't record it as an accrual basis. Once the expense or income has been logged and marked as paid in our system, that's when we record it. I know you said you didn't use Sage. My accountant uses Sage, so does this mean it's not suitable for me, or is this not a bar? So, I mean, we're our own separate software that does property income and expense tracking and MTD submissions. If your accountant's going to use Sage for that and get you to use Sage and update it yourself, then Sage will be that product for doing that. Our product doesn't integrate with Sage. It does integrate with Zero, but in the context of MTD for income tax, it's not necessary. The Zero integration is designed for more complex businesses. I like to keep records of my own residential property expenses. Can I put them in Landlord Studio without affecting my MTD? Yes, you can. So there's a lot of people that do this. It's a great way to stay on top of your own spend for your own properties. So for sure, you can exclude those properties. There will be an option in the product when you start to use it to exclude that information. I have both joint and solely owned properties. I will need MTD from April, but partner will not until 2027. Can we do MTD only for one? So yes, you can. You just don't add the owner into the property in Landlord Studio, and then you just push the data in for the one owner. But do check with your accountant about the best way to handle this. The features are set up in our product to be able to handle what you're looking for, but again, just check with your accountant to make sure that you're following the best practices around this as well. Let's jump into a few more questions. Do you need to use the bank link? No, you don't need to use the bank link. You can manually record income and expenses or import by a CSV. What kind of computer does one need to effectively use this? PC basis? Anything with a browser, Google Chrome, Safari, any browser should be supported. Best to use a browser that's most up to date. It will help you stay on top of all of this and make sure that the experience is not buggy or anything. But also you can use a mobile app, iPad as well. We are a full cloud software across all of them. How secure is the data that we put into your software, your services, remote or on site? Completely GDPR compliant. All our servers are essentially storing it securely as well. We have servers across the US, UK to ensure the best experience because we do have US users as well. So it is secure and we are GDPR compliant as well. And if you do have any more questions around that, you can always reach out to our help team, help@landlordstudio.com. We can provide you with a bit more information around that too. With jointly owned properties, does one Landlord Studio account create two MTD reports? So yes, it does. Then this is the benefit and the beauty of a joint ownership feature in Landlord Studio. You can use one account and authorize multiple owners against, for the Landlord Studio account as well, and then set up those ownerships as well. So yes, you can do that. Do you sell the data to other providers? No, we do not. We do not do that. Is your software suitable for landlords with income over 150K who have to use the accrual basis? Yes, you can. Some of our biggest users have very big portfolios. At the end of the day, you just need to log those income and expenses. There may be a few features in there if you've got large portfolios around like invoice tracking, etc., which we don't currently support. But we do have large users that are still using the workarounds to do that. So it does work for big portfolios. It just depends on how you want to use it. With joint accounts, one MTD, other not, will property income still be available for both joint accounts, one MTD? Not sure. You might need to just refine that question. I'm not sure. I don't quite understand what you're saying there. Cool. Is there any other questions? Feel free to drop them into the chat. Again, this is a place where we can answer those questions around MTD, how it's going to work in Landlord Studio, etc. So feel free to drop the last of those questions in. We're going to wrap up very soon. Again, this recording is going to be released hopefully tomorrow, and you'll be able to see this webinar again. When will this be released to the app web portal? It's currently in its final phase, and we're just going through the final QA on this. So it will be released in the product very soon. We're targeting for October next month. Just to clarify, my understanding is you can't enter non-property income. Correct. You can't enter non-property income that's going to come under the sole trader part of the MTD submission. You can add in other income and expenses that may not be related to the property, but could be related to like a property business overall. But when it comes to the two segments, property, sole trader, we don't do sole trader. We just do the property side. What else we got? Pension income. No, we wouldn't record the pension income in there as well. This is why it's useful to work with your accountant on using some of the multiple products, because it will actually allow you to do submissions from different products. Is there any way to duplicate expenses? Not currently. You can move expenses. That's a new feature that's just come out. Duplicating expenses, not currently. I'll let the product team know that that's a request that you've talked about. Price of our product. Let me just drop that in there because somebody's asked about that. So again, if you have an accountant who's on our partner program, you can get it for free until April 2028. If you don't, jump on our website, landlordstudio.com/UK/pricing. That'll give you a full breakdown of what we're charging for our 3 different plans. Move expenses will be great. Was annoying for a while prior to this. Yeah, we heard the audience or our customers. You can check that out actually on the web app. In the property details page, there is an option drop down for you to move expenses around. So you suggest that multiple quarterly reports can be sent to HMRC with more than one piece of software, one from Landlord Studio, maybe one from Xero. Yes, this is what we've been told by HMRC. You can use multiple products, and this is to allow, essentially, the ability to be able to be flexible around the different arrangements and products, etc. Because your accountant might be using one product for your final end of year tax return, and you might be using another product for, the property business, for instance. Can you store digital receipts for each property? Yes, you can. Each expense transaction, you can upload invoices, PDFs, digital receipts, etc. So they can all be stored on file and then re-downloaded as well. Can capital gains push you into MTD? Please ask your accountant about that. I'm not a tax professional, so yeah, if you do have a question about that, please seek some professional help around that. Can you do final submissions through Landlord Studio? So yeah, if you're not using an accountant and you're wanting to do this all by yourself, then you can. Your accountants typically prefer to use their own software for final submissions because they may have to do other checks and they may have to include other income to get a fuller picture. So we do allow both. You can basically either do it through our software or a different software. Jointly owned properties, 2 people, I will require MTD. My partner's income will not until next year, but she will need accounting for her share of income from the software report. Will this be available while only one account is being hooked up to MTD? So yes, you can basically add the property, add the 2 owners with the percentage split, maybe 50-50. And then you actually only have to authorize, if you're only doing MTD submission for one of those owners, then just authorize for one owner. It's still going to pull your percentage in for that one owner, if that makes sense. You don't need to account for the other half. Can you record incidental costs that don't relate to a specific property? Yes, you can. You would use the organization section of the app for that. That allows you to record income and expenses not related to a specific property. Quite useful if you're in a limited company setup as well. You might have other income and expenses not related to that. Cool. We're going to wrap up here. Really appreciate you joining today's webinar. Hopefully it's been useful. We're going to be running more of these. We're going to be covering off a little bit more detail. I just want to ask a final question before we go, is to check whether I've done my job properly. Do you feel more confident about MTD after this session? Drop a quick yes or no in the chat. Provide any feedback as well. Maybe there's some question marks that you still have as well, but definitely drop that yes or no in the chat. I want to see if, again, I've covered off all the right information and everything that you need to know. So awesome. Thank you very much. Yes, much more confident. Thank you. Great. It was good, but still will need help, of course. And again, if you are using an accountant, great place to go and ask these more detailed questions, particularly about your personal sort of tax scenario. Also, we have a lot of information on our website. Jump on landlordstudio.com/UK. We've got a whole MTD section in there that provides a lot of information around this. Cool, great session. Yeah, appreciate that all. We will be uploading the recording of this session very soon, so you'll be able to jump on in and re-review and go through it again. So just to sort of summarize, really appreciate you joining today. Hope this has been helpful. Remember, MTD is coming fast. And for those impacted by MTD in the first phase, you need to find the right software for you and develop that sort of habit of frequent bookkeeping and keeping on top of income and expenses rather than waiting till next March. Again, to learn more about Landlord Studio and create your free account, just jump on landlordstudio.com/UK. That's landlordstudio.com/UK. We've also, again, have more resources and everything on there from a legal, compliance to tax and accounting. And if you do have any more questions, please, reach out, help@landlordstudio.com for any more sort of guidance. But yeah, appreciate you joining. Hope it's been helpful. And again, we'll wait till next time. Join us for more webinars in the future. Have a great day, everyone. Appreciate it.